Hi friends, welcome back to another session of EC Made Easy. We are in the first section. In this, after looking at the basic components, it is time to look at the basic properties of the materials. Basically, here we are concentrating on electric properties of the material, and hence we have three types of materials. One we call conductors, other one we call insulators. This is our electrical version, conductors and insulators were in our electrical engineering. And then with the advent of semiconductors, that is the third one, the whole world of electronics opened up. And in the semiconductor version, these insulators are also called dielectrics. Done. So let's start our journey. Conductor. Conductor is basically a material which allows a free flow of energy through it. Any form of energy, maybe heat energy, maybe electric energy, or any other thing. So, in our studies, the energy we are limiting to our electric energy. So, flow of energy is freely allowed, then such a material we call conductor. So, flow of energy is related to flow of charged particles in our electrical domain. So, we have basically two types of charged particles, one electrons and the other one ions. So, these, if they are available in abundant number for motion, then such a material we call a conductor. So, conductor is a material having maximum number of free charge carriers. So, it may be electrons or ions. So, what does free charge carrier means? A free charge carrier in our case, say an electron, which we call a free electron, becomes free if it is not attached to any atom. If an electron is not attached to any atom, then such a electron we call a free electron. If it is not a free electron, then we call it a bonded electron. And if it is on the last orbit, then such a electron is also called valence electron. So the higher is the orbit, the more energy an electron will be having. And for an electron to become free, it must possess some minimum energy, and the highest possible energy is with the valence electrons. So if these valence electrons are given with some energy, and if that energy is sufficient to cross this minimum energy, then they become free electrons. The other electrons belonging to inner layers are having too less energy, and hence they need a lot of energy to be supplied, which is not physically possible, and hence we don't try to talk about the electrons which are in the inner orbit, so we only concentrate on the valence electrons. So there is some minimum energy required to make it a free electron, and if that minimum energy is made available through the heat of room temperature, so at room temperature we have heat, and that heat, if it is sufficient to surpass this minimum energy, then most of the valence electrons become free. So that's the concept of creating mobile charge carriers, and if we can provide sufficient energy for electrons to break the bond, a valence covalence bond, and become free, then we have sufficient number of electrons available, and these electrons are no more connected to any atom, and hence they are free to move in the matter, and this movement contributes to flow of current. When a potential difference is applied across this material. Done. So in our energy language, what we can say is there are two types of electrons, one free electron and other one is valence electron. So this will have high energy and this will have lower energy. And when large number of electrons are in a limited volume, then each electron needs to have a different energy level, and hence there is no one single energy level. There will be multiple levels of energy, which we call a band of energies. So this is what we call the energy band, and this is energy band for free electrons, and there will be another energy band for valence electrons. Done. Then what exactly is the speciality of a conductor is there is no gap between these two energy bands. That means if this is our conduction band, then this will be our valence band. Conduction band of energy, that means the energy which the free electrons can have any value from this value to this value, any value it can have, and same way the electrons which are part of uh, outer orbit can have any energy level from this to this. So the main special property of a conductor is there is overlap between these two bands. That means it is not very clear to say which electron will be a free electron, which electron will be a valence electron, because the two energy bands are overlap, and hence almost every valence electron can be viewed as a conduction band electron, and because of which a large number of free electrons are available which will assist in contributing to the flow of current. And hence when a material with such a property is applied with a electric potential, then all these free electrons will contribute to the flow of current, and hence large current will flow, and because of which this type of material can be used to ensure wherever you want a flow of current to take place. So we use this type of materials called conductors wherever you want current to flow, and wherever you don't want current to flow, then don't use this material, use some other material, which is our second part. It's called insulator or a dielectric. So what an insulator is? So extending our discussion, what we had in our explaining the conductors. So this is our conduction band of energy. That is the energy band for which the free electrons can occupy, and this is the band where the actual electrons which are connected to the valence band are. So this is our conduction band, and this is our valence band. And you can notice that there is a very large gap between these, which means that for a electron which is part of an atom, if it wants to become free, then so much of energy is required. So we have a big energy gap between valence band and the conduction band, which only tries to say that if any electron is there, which is part of the atoms, and if it wants to become free, then minimum this much of energy has to be supplied. And if this energy is beyond the scope of, that is, if the energy gap is beyond the scope of present system, that means you try to apply, how do you supply energy? Energy may be because of heat, maybe because of electric field, and many more such things. Heat. Say, if to cross this from this point to this point, if you want to heat the material to say 1000 degrees centigrade, yeah, it may be possible to heat any material from 1000 degree centigrade. But what is the guarantee that at 1000 degrees centigrade the material will survive? Don't know. Same way, electric field. So it may require some 100 megavolt or something that can provide energy sufficient to make one electron move from this band to this band. So all these are impractical, and hence under normal conditions this electron cannot be made to reach conduction band, and hence no free electrons available for conduction. Therefore, no current flows. That's what an insulator is. In the electrical world, wherever you want current to flow, conductor was used, and wherever you don't want current to flow, these insulators were used. So that's how the things were working in the electrical world. But with the advent of semiconductors, the whole situation changed. So, what a semiconductor is, how it changed the concept, how it changed the whole way we started looking at the materials. That's what is the topic of our next lecture. So, till then, take care. Bye.